This is the Cold Steel Counterattack 1. This knife is a full tang blade with a craton handle, and it has a ridiculously sharp edge to it. I would highly recommend this if you're looking for a full tang blade as an everyday carry knife or as a backpacking knife. It is just an all-around excellent knife. When I initially saw it, I just thought, oh man, this thing just looks ridiculously wicked. I mean, look at this. The groove up the center, the double edge, the ridiculously sharp point. The only thing that disappointed me was it doesn't carry the same elegance to the other side. It is flat on the other side. Don't get me wrong though. Look how thick this steel is. That is thick. So do not underestimate it. This thing is an excellent penetrator, slasher. This is just an awesome knife. So other than the disappointment in the flat side here, I just thought I gotta have this. I'm at the point where I do not want a folder as an everyday carry knife. Nothing against folders except that in a close quarters situation where I need every possible fraction of a second, I don't want to have to train myself on how to deploy a folder. So what better than a full tang blade knife? You just got to be careful though, because there are some knives out there that look full tang but they're not. And by full tang I mean you have the blade here, however it's one chunk of metal that still continues all the way down through the whole part of the handle. On some knives, even on some of Cold Steel's knives, they stop it right here, have a couple bolts or some rivets in. This though, you can see in this hole here, that metal part goes all the way through. It is one solid chunk. And so you get extreme durability with that, and it just feels nice and solid. Plus, if you don't want to hurt someone too bad, you can always just reverse it and thunk them with the blunt end of the handle. So that was my initial impression. As far as function goes, it's pretty much primarily a piercing knife. Don't get me wrong, you will not have any issues slashing with it, but it's not meant for hacking. If you want something that you can beat up hacking through like limbs or something like that, I wouldn't go with this knife. It's not really meant for that. You could probably do it for a little bit, but in the end, if you repeatedly do that, you are going to beat the blade up. Don't get me wrong, it's made of excellent quality steel, but it's just not designed with that purpose in mind. Reliability, like I said, it's a full tang blade. I don't foresee any issues in owning this knife. The weakest point that I can see is going to be this tip, but as I'll get to it here in a second, because of the steel they use, I don't foresee that being an issue either. But the tip would probably be the weakest point on this knife. Smoothness, the blade is absolutely gorgeous on its finish. As always with all the knives that I've got from Cold Steel, excellent finish on it. No complaints whatsoever. That brings us right into quality. On the quality on this, it's made of AUS 8A steel, so it is incredibly durable. It'll hold an edge well. If you've seen my review on the Cold Steel Kobun Tanto, they use that same steel in their Kobun Tanto, and I stabbed through a ton of cardboard and even into a 1-inch thick textbook with that, and it did not even damage the point. In fact, after stabbing through other stuff in tests that I haven't actually shown in video, it still has taken a beating, hasn't lost its edge. It's just, they use excellent steel in this knife. So it's going to be extremely durable. It's going to hold an edge well. If you do stab into something harder than flesh, don't worry, you're more than likely not going to mess up the tip on this. They were nice enough to make it a fairly thick tip, and it's actually thicker, I believe, than the tip on the Kobun Tanto. So that held up just fine, and that was me full force slamming it into a 1-inch solid thick book with a 4-inch thick ream of printer paper directly underneath. So it hit some really solid material, and it didn't damage the tip, didn't need any sharpening after that. It's just an excellent, excellent knife. I'm going to actually take off the hair right here. Oh yeah, look at that. Smooth as a baby's bottom now. Look at all that hair on there. So, yeah, this thing is ridiculously sharp, people. Guess I should probably shave the other side of my arm to match, huh? There we go. Matching shaved. That's how sharp of a knife this is. If you're still not convinced, I don't know what more I can do to convince you. As you can see, my hair is all over this blade. I mean, that's really not much more I can do to convince you guys. So, yeah, it's a great knife, and this is with the factory edge. It's ridiculously sharp. Now, I will warn you, it is more expensive than some of their other knives. I've reviewed the Cold Steel Spike series, the Tokyo and the Scimitar. Those were both in the $22 to $30 range. The Kobun Tanto, I believe, was about $30 to $40, depending on where you get it. This one cost $60. Do I regret it? No. I think it is a more than excellent price for that. You might even be able to find it cheaper, honestly. This is going to be my new everyday carry knife. It's for $60. I think it's honestly a steal. You'll find a lot of other knives, though, that are in this price range. I know SOG makes some excellent ones, also in AUS 8. For me, I decided to go with Cold Steel because I've bought 3 knives from them, and none of them disappointed. Extremely razor sharp, extremely durable. They survived all the tests, exceeded all my expectations, and for the price that I got them at, they were just an incredible value. So if you're willing to put out the $50 to $70 for this knife and you're wanting a full tang blade, I would highly recommend it. It is an excellent, excellent knife.